Can you see anything now? I'll just come up. So what do you see now? And now? Okay, you don't see the slide. Okay. Okay, so is there a slide up now? Okay, I will dive into it. Okay. Hello, and yes, I'll start the presentation now. You can just hang on there for a sec. Yep. Okay. This session is called Building Your Customer Base for the Entrepreneur. My name is Jomar Reyes from Strategic Media Company, and I'll take you through this this particular session. Now. Okay, so I'll just quickly tell a bit about myself. I'm a business entrepreneur. I also have founded a consultancy called Strategic Media Company, and I also we also work with workshops, and we also do digital media consulting. I also lecture digital media and marketing, or in marketing, and creative industries at the Danish School of the Danish Institute of Studies Abroad here in Copenhagen. So they're mainly university students, college students from the USA. And a bit more about myself, my experience. I have my background is in corporate work, the corporate environment, having worked with IBM for 9 years. And I've also worked at AC Nielsen, which is one of the largest, if not the largest, marketing research companies in the world. And I've also managed clients and consulted to clients such as Apple, Adobe, Autodesk, Sony, and Panasonic, and Dell. So the background has been, very technology-based, a bit of marketing research. So that's kind of given me some really good insights into what we're going to be talking about today. Here in Copenhagen, I've also consulted with Saxo Bank, which is one of the world's biggest investment banks as well. The other thing that I have been involved with is digital media and publishing, and that's an area of the market. Working with Digital Media World magazine, I was able to see the turn of this whole digital age from about 2001 up until the present time, 2014. So really see how the internet has changed the world and things like social media. And from there, I've also started building my own entrepreneurial activities with the Creative Media Network and Music Producers Forum, which I'll touch a bit on in this presentation. So just taking to the next slide about the strategic media company. So at the moment, I've just launched it as a small studio, a creative studio 15 minutes north of Copenhagen. We're co-located with a branding promotional company called Prospective, and also a graphic design company upstairs, Thomas Brando. So within the building, it's a very creative space, and I bring a lot of the digital side of things to the equation. So it's a great little creative community that we have. This is my little neck of the woods, the studio that I have downstairs. So we can do a lot of media production and small workshops, and also working space when I have freelancers come in and stuff like that. So the session today, building your customer base. I'll be covering that in 3 sections. The first section is having a look at business assets and the customer base. Now, your customer base is one of your biggest assets, but it's also important to see how it is in line with some of the other assets that are a part of your business. So we'll be going into that. Also, what's really important is the customer journey. Now, the customer journey from the point of discovering your company, discovering your brand, reaching out to it, and then starting that whole conversation in the sales cycle process is really an important or a critical phase in terms of developing that relationship. And the relationship, as all relationships, are really based on journeys. So that's what the digital age is bringing today, is that it's not so much the transaction, it is more about the actual journey that the customer takes with the brand, with the company. And then finally, we're going to have a look at some of the tools for the startup. And we kind of live in a world now where there is a, so I'll just bring that back up again, is where we have a fantastic environment for the startup community. There's a world of tools that's available through the internet. And a lot of them are free, and they have the freemium model. So you can use a lot of the products free of charge until you get to a certain size. The other things you gotta watch out for are things that are time locked. So if it's like free for a month, or you know, I tend to avoid big month checking out a particular platform and finding out that it's not something that you're interested in. So I'm a big fan of freemium, and I think it's really a fantastic thing for the startup community to have. So section 1, business assets and the customer base. So there's the customer base is one of the business assets. And here's a really important point that I like to make, is that your customer base is one of your company's most powerful and valuable and critical assets. And it's something that I'll mention again a bit later. But here is how it all fits. If we have a look at your business, it could be at a concept phase, it could be at startup phase, or it could be an established business. You know, at this stage, you can these days still, you know, you've got things like Kickstarters where you have concepts that you can actually start promoting for customers. You know, it's like selling off the plan kind of thing with apartments and stuff like that. So you can do the same thing these days with your startup concept, and you're probably all familiar with it. So I won't harp too much on that. At a startup phase where you're just getting off the ground and you might be investing it in yourself, or you might have found an investor, or even at an established phase. So this is for all levels of business will be, the customer base is important, as are the following assets. So if we have a look at the business assets, there are 4 here. You've got the product, what you've created, or it might be a service. You've got the brand, that would be like the name of your product or service. You got the new one on the block, which is content. And I like to really emphasize that now content should be considered by all companies as an asset. Once upon a time, advertising, was more as an expense, but now advertising is more content-based. So yep. And then the 4th part of your business assets that we'll be exploring today is your customer or your customer base. So let's have a quick look at the product as a business asset. It could be still at an idea phase. So it could just be a product that is an idea from the napkin to the blueprint, something that you're actually, sharing with people in terms of a concept or an idea. You've actually, got a product, and to some degree, you've got an asset there as well. It could be a product or a service. So it could be something that you manufacture, or it could be a service that you provide. And then you've also got intellectual property as well. And this is in the areas if you're licensing an idea out for other people to use, like the whole franchising model. But they're the kind of the most common types of products that are considered your business assets under the product banner. And then you've got something which is a bit harder to put a value on in terms of what its value is, and that's your brand asset. And that can be described as the reputation that you have. It could result in loyalty. A brand asset that is very strong or that has a high equity value will also have a lot of loyalty from its customer base or from its user base. And also there's a premium attached. A strong brand, people will pay a premium for it. Now we know that with brands like Apple, for example, where we do pay a premium, but it does have a reputation for many things. It has a reputation for something of higher quality, something that works and gets the job done, something that's innovative. So a lot of these things work in together, and that builds up a loyalty base as well. So the other asset to your company is as I mentioned before, is content. Now, content, thanks to the internet and this digital age, can be seen as a marketing asset. So when you have your content strategy based on a website, that might include articles or videos about your product, or client testimonials or user testimonials. All this good content will attract an audience. If it's optimized for search engines, you'll be getting, as long as companies like Google are around, you'll be getting traffic headed your way. So content itself is not just an expense, it is an asset because it provides ongoing return. And it's fairly cheap to maintain, but I think it's also important for companies to start considering investing wisely into content, because it has such a long and lasting effect, and it has that long tail effect that can provide return on the investment for many, many years to come. The other thing with content is that it's a community tool. So as a community tool, it's something that people will come back to when they need help, or they might see a client testimonial and want to reach out to that person. With WordPress, for example, or most content management systems, you will have a commenting function underneath. So it is really a staple part of a strong community, is having a good set of content. It also builds relationships. When you have good content, they are reading about your product, they're reading about your product's personality, and it's building up that relationship, that emotional relationship that they would have with your product or with your company. So again, it's really important to make sure that you're investing wisely with getting your content strategy right. And the other point that I've got here is with new business, because a lot of content, when it's well optimized and appropriately optimized, will send you search traffic, search engine traffic. So these are users, people that are coming into, say, Google, which is 97% of search engine traffic according to my assets. When people are searching for something in particular, if what they're searching for is something that is listed on your website and your website is well optimized, you'll get traffic that you would have never gotten before. And you can thank the likes of Google and other good search engines out there, well, predominantly Google, of course. So it does provide an opportunity for new business. So we can see here that content really, rather than just being a pure asset, being a pure expense, is an ongoing asset. Now, this brings us to the main business asset that we're talking about today, and that is the customer database. So the customer database, and it's important to look at who your customers are. They're your potential customers. They're customers from the past. They're customers that you're currently dealing with, and they're also customers from that are in the future. So these customers become consumers and buyers of your product. So a customer is not necessarily a consumer of your product yet. When you walk into a shop, you're a customer. You're not necessarily a consumer. So it's important to establish what we're talking about, the taxonomy that we're talking about when we're talking about what is a customer. So, and again, this is where I put it as it's fair. Or customer base is one of your company's most powerful, valuable, and critical assets. Let's now explore the customer's journey, right? So, and this is the second section, the customer's journey. So if we have a look at what I've done here, is I've broken it out into 3 stages. So we have what is a prospective customer, we have a registered customer, and we have a commercial customer. And let me just quickly explain the difference between the 3. So your prospective customer is the customer, like in the retail scenario, walks into a shop. They haven't bought anything yet, but they are still a customer. They're prospective because they're potentially going to purchase something. In this environment, when we're talking about the customer bases and say the internet, there's still a longer process. It's not a matter of walking into a shop and buying something. And I think that many of you have dealt with online sales, would see in your stats that just because you're getting traffic, it's not going to be anywhere near the majority of people that come to actually make a purchase. So we'll be getting a lot of prospective people visiting your site. The next step that we want to aim for is to move them from a prospective to a registered customer. So when they become a registered customer, that's when they've actually subscribed or when they've liked your page, or they've actually, they've signaled some interest so that you have some of their details. They've either liked it or they're following you on one of the other social networks, such as Tumblr or Instagram, et cetera. And then the third stage is the commercial stage. So that's the journey stage where the customer has actually made a purchase. So they are kind of like the 3 steps that we're looking at. So if we do have a look again at the closer insight to the prospective customer, the important thing to notice with the prospective customer, and here I'm predominantly talking about online, but it is that person walking into your shop for the first time. In the internet terms, it's someone that's visiting your website for the first time. It's the first exposure that they're having to your brand. And that's an important one, because first impressions are lasting impressions. So a part of their process when they're still a prospective is that level of interest. So they've had the exposure and they recognize that the solution that you're presenting or the product that you have represents a solution to their need or to their needs. So that's kind of the next stage in the prospective customer stage. You still haven't actually necessarily engaged with them or received any information, but the level of interest from their side is starting to build. So what they actually come across here is, or what you got to consider from their point of view is what they see. What's the website that they're seeing? Then how are they seeing it? Are they seeing it through a search engine, or how would they connect with you? And the other one is when. I mean, in terms of context, and it could be timing, a certain time of the day, or it could be seasonality, where if you're selling ski gear, it would be in the autumn that they're actually seeing your brand. So it's a good idea to be aware from their point of view the what, how, and when that your prospective client or customer sees your brand. The next step is what I call the registered customer, and that's when they actually have completed a call to action. So they might have subscribed with their email address. They might start following your brand on social media, or they might have even registered a phone number. So that's the step that the customer makes one step closer towards your brand. And that's quite an important thing, because what they've done here is they have given you something, and that is something of value. And that something of value is their details. So they're giving you permission to contact them back. So that is the registered customer. They at this point in time may not have purchased anything. I know the retail environment, sometimes you do purchase something and then you fill out a subscription form. But at this stage, like in the online side of things, we're looking at an environment where it's a content marketing environment. So we're as a brand, we're after the audience, the prospective customers, to subscribe to us or to follow us or to like our page or to give us their phone number. And then the next stage is what I call the commercial customer. So, and this is a very, very important stage, because this is the part where they are actually investing in your product. So as an entrepreneur, or for entrepreneurs out there, this is when you're having the proof of pudding. But it doesn't stop there. The fact that they've bought the product doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to like the product, because the experience will go beyond the actual sales point. And what they are actually doing is they're investing. They're investing in your product. So in any investment that you make, any purchase that you make, there is a risk that it's not going to fulfill or meet your needs. That if it doesn't fulfill or meet your needs, or you don't understand the product, what is the service that you're going to get afterwards as well. So they're the things that you need to consider with the commercial customer. They have now an emotional commitment to your product and your brand, and you need to be able to represent that to them as well. The important thing that you need to be aware with every customer who's purchased or invested in your product or service is that they could very well share their experience. Now, this is what we call, word of mouth, but this can also go the other way around. If their experience is not a positive experience, they will probably share it, and it will probably be on the social networks or social media, and you need to be able to respond to that. that in itself can also offer many other opportunities to engage them at a deeper level. It might be a misunderstanding. It's a moment of truth where you have the opportunity to expand on the experience if they are sharing a bad experience. If they're sharing a good experience, you don't need to say much more, because everyone has their network, their social network. The other thing that we want to make sure with these commercial customers is that they could potentially make a repeat purchase. So depending on your product, of course, it might be, if it's a car, it's something that has a long sales cycle. If it's a university, it's generally a once-off purchase. But for a lot of other products and services out there, they could be a monthly subscription, for example. So basically, we have to keep in mind that, what is the frequency of purchase with these customers that we have. So this is the second part, or the third part, this presentation, where I'll actually go into some of the tools. Now, the interesting thing to note, or one thing that I think is really amazing, is that the online tools are really powering the entrepreneurial age that we're experiencing today. So not only do we have access to a global audience, but we also have access to some amazing tools as well. And as entrepreneurs, we can do a lot more with our customer base, with our content, and with our marketing, and with the distribution and sales of our products than what we could have done even 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So the online tools are really empowering this entrepreneurial age. You may have heard of the freemium model. The freemium model, and I was talking about it a bit earlier in my presentation, is that there are a lot of products and services out there that are available online that enable us to build our assets, whether it's our customer assets, our content assets, or intellectual property. These tools are things like WordPress, Google Analytics, MailChimp, and there's a CRM tool which I've been reviewing recently called Untitled. So what I'll do is I'll quickly have a run through of these freemium tools that are available for the entrepreneurs to use out there and develop their customer base. So if you have a look at WordPress, I'm sure that you would all be familiar with WordPress, or most of you. For those of you who aren't, WordPress is a content management system, or the back end of a blogging platform. I don't like to use the word blogging so much for WordPress because it does so much more than just blogging. I call it the best content management system out there, and I've tried a few different ones as well. And I've always come back to WordPress. As a content management system, it manages all kinds of content fantastically well, from text to video to audio to images as well. And there are a world of different templates out there and design options that you have for using WordPress. It's certainly my tool of choice, or weapon of choice. For the prospective customer, the content management system that they see, this is going to be their first experience, is that WordPress platform. And this is the point where often they register, they can register, they can submit their contact details. It's their point of inspiration and information. So if you've designed your content and marketing strategy properly, you're looking at also having a call to action there where they register for more information, or where they register for a sample product, or whether they register for you to contact them. register for something that will add value to the experience. And it's not necessarily a matter of registering directly for a sale. WordPress can actually be the point of sale as well, or their website, your content management system can be the point of sale. And it can also be the point of referral. People can also refer your website where they bought a product or service. And that, of course, has every opportunity in today's day and age to go viral as well. The other tool, I might quickly just see if I can jump into a WordPress front end, sorry, before I go into the other things. So here you see, this is the Music Producers Forum. This is a custom design, so it's not an off-the-shelf template, but the brief to the designer was to really make it look like a magazine. We still have that blog format of the order of the order of the newest to the oldest, but you can see here I've got a call to action on the top right hand corner as well, and we also have available menus and different sections, and there are also drop down opportunities or drop down menus there. So the navigation is totally flexible in that respect. This point here, this call to action, registered to join the Music Producers Forum. This is the point where I can then engage the audience to become a member and to join the community and start building that customer base as well when I start offering products and services. If we have a look at the back end, we can see that the posts are registered chronologically as well. We can also manage the media, the pages, comments. We can change the appearance with themes. We can set up different users. Yeah, it's phenomenal. We've also got the SEO plugin. I use a plugin called Yoast, which is great, and a lot of people I know that use it stand by it. So it basically helps your WordPress site be optimized with search engine traffic or search engine optimization. So yeah, so that's WordPress, or a bit of an overview of WordPress. Now, if we have a look at Google Analytics, which I also have tied to this site, Google Analytics is the data of traffic that comes to your site. So it's kind of like your dashboard. If you're the pilot of a plane, it's the pilot's dashboard. So this is why I call it your online pilot dashboard. You can see when, where, and what your customers are engaging with when they're on your online page. So with all that data that comes in and all that information, Google Analytics becomes an incredible source of business intelligence about your customer. We can really dig deeply into who they are. You can start testing the theories of your product, if it's going to appeal to a certain audience or to a certain region. So I'll quickly, again, jump over to the Google Analytics page. So this is the main audience overview page, and this is the traffic over the last 30 days. Again, I'm just going to give a quick overview. Some of you may not have seen Google Analytics before. So over the last 30 days, we can see the number of sessions and the number of unique users and the number of pages that have been viewed. If we want to as well, we've got here, I've got a heat map, so I can actually see where the traffic is coming from in terms of an actual heat map, which is quite handy. I can also see it there. And yeah, I mean, there's a whole stack of other things that we can see here as well. If I just go into behavior, I can see what pages have actually been viewed. I can have a look at it from an all page kind of perspective. So we can see that this is the most visited page, which is an actual category page, I can see. So there's a lot of people interested in songwriting and song analysis, and also electronic dance music. So we can also see the average time on those particular pages. So that's 1 minute and 22 seconds. The site average is 147. So there are many ways to slice and dice the data that's available within Google Analytics. Then we have MailChimp. Again, this is one of my tools of choice. There's also another product called Campaign Monitor, which I'd highly recommend. But the nice thing about MailChimp, I'll explain in a sec. But basically, broadcast email is what we're looking at here. So it's kind of like direct digital or digital direct mail. You know, in the old days, we used to call it direct mail, and that's when we'd pop something in the post to 1,000 of our favorite customers, and there was a cost of postage, et cetera, et cetera. Now we have this format. Some people call it electronic direct mail, EDM, which I prefer not to use because EDM is also electronic dance music. But from my angle, I'll represent it as digital direct mail. So the nice thing with MailChimp is at the freemium level, you are allowed 2,000 subscribers, and that's up to 12,000 emails per month. So that's almost 6 emails per month to your 2,000 subscribers, which if you were to put that in terms of what it would cost to post 12,000 items, you know, we're looking at a sizable expense in terms of printing the materials and actual postage as well, and time and effort. So, you know, digital direct mail is a fantastic way to nurture your customer base as it grows. So with broadcast email, you're actually publishing your brand's voice to your customers. So that in itself is another 2 to 3 hour session in terms of how do you publish to your customers? What do you say? You know, what are the best things to say? The fact that we have the opportunity to do that at no cost to up to 2,000 people is absolutely phenomenal in this age. I'll again quickly pop back to MailChimp, and we can see their dashboard, and I'll just quickly go over it. So we can see how people have actually subscribed over recent months. So there's an ongoing additional number of people that are incrementally subscribing each month. And if we have a look at the Music Producers Forum, we can see the front end of that is an actual embed there from this particular button here from MailChimp. And as I hit register here, it actually takes me to the MailChimp backend where you can actually register your contact details, or the client or the customer can register their contact details. So I've created a bit of an experience there. It's a bit wordy, but it's kind of really giving them the benefits of becoming a member rather than just signing up to a list. The other good thing with MailChimp is the usability is quite good. They've actually updated it quite a lot recently to the point where the usability is a lot better than what it has been. So the left-hand column, you can see here, you've got, you know, your account details here. You can look at the different campaigns that you're putting together. You can also start designing here on the left-hand column different templates. You can see here I've got a couple of standard templates that I use, but there's also templates that they have available. And then this is where the list section is where your database lists are managed. And you can see here this list with 1,173 is where is being fed by the call to action on the website. So that, you know, grows pretty much every month, which is nice. There's also a reporting function as well. You know, I won't go into too much detail, but this is something that, you know, you can freely set up your own account and explore the different abilities or the functions and reporting that MailChimp actually offers. So, you know, again, it's a great tool. I'll just quickly show you a preview of a MailChimp email. So it's dead easy. There's no coding involved, and it's a fantastic tool and a fantastic resource to have at a freemium level. So yeah, so it's all about brand building, developing your call to action. You can deliver more call to actions from your emails. You can even include a point of sale where you've built up a bit of trust with your customer base, and it could be an email saying, buy now, book now, order now. So MailChimp offers another great point of sale environment as well. The other tool, or the final tool that I'm going to talk about now, is a tool called Untitled, which is an online CRM tool. So CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. So it's basically a platform that has not only the database of your customers, but also manages the projects and the opportunities that you might actually have from your customer base as well. So it's more than just a database. So it really can play a part in terms of managing your customer's journey as well. You'll be able to see and take notes of what they've purchased, or if they've registered for an inquiry of a certain product. It's an important tool for your communications and marketing. You can segment your database so that you target your communications to the right people as well. And of course, it's great in managing your sales, pipeline as well. The other thing is, it is a source of business intelligence. As you start tagging or categorizing your customer base, you can then start creating some interesting reports. So I'll just quickly jump into the Untitled platform. If we go to the home, and again, we have this really nice left-hand column navigation tool as well. And I should mention as well that there's a nice mobile app that's available for Untitled as well. So if you're on the road, or if you have a sales team that's on the road, or a marketing team that's on the road, they can access a lot of this database. So you can register tasks here, which I won't go too much into because I use a different tool, but you can use it for a task management. In terms of your contacts, this is the straight list. You can tag your contacts as well, so that you just have a certain tag. You will only pull up the certain amount of people with particular tags that you actually assign. You can also register your organizations as well. You can register opportunities that you might have with organizations and or customers. You can register projects, and projects could be an opportunity that's turned into a commercial job. And then you can also include emails by adding a unique email address for different projects. And of course, it has a reporting function as well. So with Untitled, it's a fantastic tool. Again, it's free. I think you have up to 3 users who can access the database before you go into a monthly licensing cost. And it is a fantastic tool. And this is what houses your customer database, which is, as I was mentioning before, one of your strongest assets. So in summary, we have our business assets and the customer database, or the customer base. Your customer base is one of the main assets to your company or your business. Keep an eye on that. Also, the customer journey is something that's really important today. In a lot of my other sessions, I'll talk about storytelling and about content marketing, but you've got to have the customer base to do that, and to do that well. And as I just finished up, the tools for startups that are available out there free of charge are phenomenal. And I'd encourage you all to use them if you get a chance. And by all means, hit me up if you've got any questions at all. You'll find my details on the website. If not, it's jomar@strategicmediacompany.net. You can also follow me on Twitter at Jomar Reyes. Yeah, so I hope that you have all found this this session insightful. I'll just turn the screen sharing off, and that's me there signing off. I hope that you found this session insightful, and please get in touch with me if you do have any questions, comments, or ideas in the future. But thanks again, and I will see you around. Looking forward to the Creative Business Cup, which I will see you at in November.